The presentation I just did related to the concept that was promoted by the president called carbon neutrality for Costa Rica by the second bicentennial of our independence. That's going to be in 2021. And the idea is that by that date, Costa Rica will mitigate its carbon emissions, all the anthropogenic emissions, so that we will be climate or carbon neutral. This, of course, involves many things, and it will not be accomplished unless we do many things. Basically, but the basic things we need to do is deal with transport, which we do basically burning diesel and gasoline. So we need to deal with transport, go to modern, advanced electrical types of public transport, and other things, electric cars and so forth. And the other thing is agriculture. Although Costa Rica no longer allows cutting primary forest, agricultural practices are still not the best. We still don't know how to handle agricultural waste, which is a big emitter of CO2 and methane. We need to go to more advanced technologies in agriculture, which is possible. We also have a strong program on education, because we believe education is basic. This is how the world changes. So we are retraining the teachers of our public schools. And this is going very well, actually, I think, because teachers are susceptible people. If you give them information, they get very excited because they have tools with which to teach their students. So we believe by retraining the teachers, allowing them to understand what's happening, but especially giving them tools to tell their students what they can do. Because obviously the worst thing we could do would be to tell the students that the world's coming to an end and just leave it at that. And so it's very important as part of this educational practice to make sure the students understand that they can take their destiny in their hands and do things about it. We're also talking about an institution that was created 12 years ago, roughly, which is called FONAFIFO, which actually pays for environmental services, and it is funded by a tax on gasoline and diesel, a 2.5% tax. We're also talking about supporting ecotourism, which is a very sustainable type of tourism, based on the resources that Costa Rica has protected historically. About 26% of its territory is under some sort of protection, national parks or other protected areas. So this is all part of a package that we believe is very important. The country needs to do lots of things before 2021 if we're going to be sea neutral, and this is all part of this process. One of the most exciting things that I mentioned is the fact that the concept of sea neutrality lends itself to either persons, families, cities, countries becoming sea neutral, working towards sea neutral, because it uses an algorithm that allows me, for instance, or you, for instance, to calculate your carbon emissions, and then you know how much you have to neutralize. Mm-hmm. And you can do it, you can actually pay for it, like I can neutralize through FONAFIFA, I can neutralize this trip, which is going to cost about $40 to neutralize. You can do things, personally, in many ways. It's very easy to do things that don't cost any money. Learning how to turn off lights, change your light bulbs to cold light, managing water. One of the issues in this meeting has been the problem of water. How are we going to deal with water? This is a basic thing for us to, despite the fact that we're a country that has a lot of rain. But it doesn't guarantee that just because you have rain, you can manage it. You need to be able to capture it and use it and so forth. How do we become carbon neutral anyway? I think in the end, the whole world's going to have to go carbon neutral. But going to a decarbonized economy means going for more hydro, going for more wind power, we have geothermal, which is a very good source of energy. It's a stable source. Wind, solar, biomass. There's now many choices. We got to be creative. I think science and technology has to help provide answers to new energy sources, and I think it's doable. It requires commitment, and I guess the bottom line of what I've said at this meeting is that humanity has to turn this problem, which is probably the biggest problem we've ever faced as humanity, into an opportunity of uniting humans for once on a common issue, and then, of course, of remodeling our society so that the armies of the world, where all the money goes, and this is why we can't deal with climate change because it's so expensive and we're spending all the money in military operations. We need to turn the military into defenders of the environment and not into fighters of other humans. This is our view. And Costa Rica can say it, and I'm very proud to be able to say it, because we abolished the army 50 years ago. It's doable. Many countries in Latin America and in Africa could abolish the army and nothing would happen. I don't mean we can abolish the police force because there's still crime and so forth.
The army, yes.
But the army,
Right.
it can be done. And you can imagine, we could solve the environmental problem if we just take a small percent of what the armies of the world spend. We need all humans to figure out their carbon footprint and start working towards neutralizing humans, companies, states, universities. In Costa Rica, we have 3 universities that have claimed they're going to be sea neutral. Well, they're trying to do it, and I think everybody's has got to go through that realization that it's for our own survival. If we don't, you know who's going to pay for all this? Our children and our grandchildren. So it's a commitment with the future, and I think it's doable. It sounds difficult. It sounds crazy. Abolish the armies. Who's thinking about that? That's the way we got to go. If we do it, we can deal with the issue.